you walk through the Sky Dome at the National Corvette Museum and look up at the faces of those who have made the Corvette what it is, you can't help but be in awe of these incredible, inspiring, and often colorful people. Among the most colorful is our third and final inductee into the 2016 Corvette Hall of Fame, Corvette's Pink Lady, Miss Donna Mae Mims. Donna Mae's Corvette story began in 1958 when she spotted a Corvette at the dealership while driving through Dormont, Pennsylvania with her husband Mike Mims. She'd never seen one before and fell in love with it instantly.
They realize if they have a two-seat car, they can't carry any in-laws with them. So the Corvette really fit into that, and that was a 57, I believe, that they got started with.
They hung on to it for a while, and they found out about Sports Car Club of America, the SCCA, decided they wanted a better Corvette than what they had just bought off the used car lot. So Don sold them a fuel-injected 58 off the lot, and she and her husband Mike started speed events with it.
On the track, Donna Mae owned the color pink. Her opponents would see her coming up through the pack, which bruised a lot of male egos at the time.
What do you think about women drivers in a race of this character?
Well, I think someone should have told them the Sunday school picnic's tomorrow. They're a day too early.
Still, she became the first woman ever to win a national SCCA championship.
I ran a series of races throughout the year, and in the end, the final race I think was at Lime Rock, and she was advised that if she finished 10th or better, she would beat Paul Hill for the championship. And somewhere along the line, she broke down, her clutch failed, and Don Yenko advised her when she came in the pits that she had clinched the championship because she had finished 10th or better, and this Paul Hill broke earlier, and he would have been 14th or something like that. So that's when she won the first championship of a lady driver in H production in SCCA.
Following her win, sponsors like Hertz, Fiat, Gulf Oil, Chevrolet, and Ring Free Oil came courting, making it possible for her to compete in the biggest races in North America. She raced in the 12 Hours of Sebring and the 24 Hours of Daytona. She even took on the Cannonball Run, a coast-to-coast race that ran from New York to California. That didn't turn out the way she hoped for.
The three gals were prepared for this trip, this cross-country road race, the Cannonball. They had a cigar box full of money for speeding fines that they would use en route. They carried along a porta potty, and they had I think a snap-on tool chest full of tools, and so they were ready to go. They started out from New York. Donna Mae had done her driving stint, so she got in the back seat and laid across the back seat with her helmet on at the time. And this Peggy Niemczek was the driver at the moment, and Judy was riding shotgun and was supposed to help keep her awake.
And she's back there taking a little snooze, and she has a dream that for some reason she's in the middle of this clothes dryer and there's money floating all around. And when she finally wakes up and realizes that the gal driving at the time lost control, the car was rolling over multiple times. Their slush fund was the dollars, and the dollars were flying through the air. The little porta-john thing they had, the fluid was flying through the air, and there was that mist, and there was Donna Mae saying, "What the heck's going on?"
And while Donna Mae's in the hospital and the doctor approaches her, and he suddenly looks rather shocked, and he steps back from her, and she doesn't know what's going on. She thinks she's in serious trouble. And the doctor said, "Your skin is green." It turns out it was the porta potty that spilled all over her. They had just treated it at the last rest stop with the porta potty chemicals, which was green.
I believe she's not one to harbor resentment, but I don't think she ever really quite forgave the gal that rolled the car. And that was the end of her Cannonball experience.
Later, the Burt Reynolds movie of the same name featured a character inspired by Donna Mae.
They'll do anything and stop at nothing.
Normally I drive right around the speed limit.
We all make mistakes, miss. But 160?
To win the Cannonball Run.
As her career in racing began winding down, she started working for Don Yenko as his high-performance salesperson. She worked closely with GM to try to get the Yenko Stinger approved for SCCA racing and became friends with Ed Cole along the way.
And she handled a lot of the communications between Chevrolet and Yenko for the purpose of getting the Yenko Stinger going. And then when Yenko started the Copo type Camaros, Chevelles even, putting 427 engines in them and stuff like that, she was the go-between.
Still, all along, Donna Mae was a fancier of Corvettes and had those words printed on pink business cards to prove it. She would leave them on windshields of Corvettes she'd seen in parking lots to invite them to club meetings. One such card would find itself on a car driven by Gulf Oil Vice President Grady Davis.
Donna Mae was a great ambassador for the club. And in the city of Pittsburgh one day, she noticed in the parking garage was a '60 Corvette. She put her card under the windshield and said, "Please come and join our Corvette club." And this was Grady Davis's car. And Grady Davis shows up and said, "Hey, what's going on here?" Donna Mae takes him by the hand and introduces him around. This is Don Yenko, this is Frank Yenko, these are people that go racing, people in the club. And the guy says, "This looks like fun, and let me do something."
She introduced him to the fun of SCCA racing, and as a result, he would go on to start the first corporate-sponsored Corvette racing program. In her life, she would help to start 3 Corvette clubs and was often at the track doing whatever she could to help others discover and enjoy the thrills of motorsports.
Her family literally ended up being her friends in the Corvette clubs and Steel Cities Region SCCA.
Her daily driver was a pink 1979 Corvette. After she passed away on October 6, 2009, it was her wish to be seated in that car for the viewing at her funeral. However, her friends believe she would want to be remembered as someone who loved life, loved racing, loved God, and loved Corvette, not necessarily in that order.
Her request was that half of her cremated ashes be buried next to her favorite uncle, Norman Scott Warnock, which was her maiden name. And she asked that if I would take the rest of her ashes and spread them across various racetracks in the region. She always said that Cumberland was hallowed ground and her favorite racetrack. So I arranged for 57 Fuelie, and we went down the runway, which is the original runway used in the racetrack, and as we crossed the finish line of the runway, we spilled her ashes out on the track, and we were doing probably 80, 90 mile an hour at the time. After that, I distributed her ashes, and she asked that I do it during races. So I spilled ashes out during races at Beaver Run, Nelson Ledges, Mid-Ohio, Watkins Glen, Virginia International. Donna Mae was a person who was exuberant and excited about everything she did. It was almost like a childlike sort of enthusiasm that she had about life. She would probably say something very similar to what was the last phrase on her will, and that was, "Okay, it's over, go out and have some fun."
For her lifelong love for the Corvette and the contagious enthusiasm she had for the car and for the people who drove them, we welcome her royal pinkness, the wonderful Donna Mae Mims, into the Corvette Hall of Fame.